up for race 2 for Production and Sports GT is a reverse grid. So Pierre Neem starts up front alongside Murray Beebe in Sports GT, back to Jeff Washbourne and Russell Mortimer. Lawrence Nola and Paul Williams in the Camaros. Row 4, it'll be Matt Cronin alongside Chris Hatton in another Camaro. Row 5, the quick boys, Jeff Short and Cameron Jones, with some work to do through traffic. Then it's the first of the productions with Scott Ballingall and Ashley Hooper. Back to Jim Kelly and Scott Lawrence in that 500 plus horsepower Evo. Go back to Simon Ellingham and Ian Clapperton in the Commodore. Brent Cross and Kevin Varney, the championship leader for Production GT. Then it's Stan Moore and Jeff Gray going back to row number 10, a big field of productions. Ryan Austin and Gareth McKenzie again heading back towards the quicker cars. Matt Edgar and Gary Duncan, who's been a race winner already this summer, back to Mac Dunn and Neville Stoll. And completing the lineup, race 1 winner Chris Dunn. As we wait for the lights to go out with the Sports GTs, the 4-wheel drive Skyline of Murray Beebe streaks away off the grid and will lead down into turn number 1. Russell Mortimer and Jeff Washbourne was side by side. Mortimer got the early jump as the quicker boys head away. Lawrence Nola, Chris Hatton, Jeff Short in the Juno sports car slash bathtub in these conditions. Matt Cronin in the Skyline. Race 1 winner Cameron Jones, who had some fuel pressure problems and said he was very, very lucky just to get to the end, let alone win the race. As Short pulls to the inside of Hatton. Camaro should have the horsepower advantage. Short may have the inside line down here into turn number 4. He pulls ahead. So Cameron Jones, I think, will be just treading carefully in these conditions with the big horsepower, the turbocharged rotary. To the inside of Hatton will pick up the position. So 8 laps. It'll be a little bit easier for the quicker boys to get to the front of Sports GT with a slightly smaller field than the Productions. A pretty decent lineup again, with most of the entries dominated by the local Kumo Tyres sports saloons that contest the rounds down here around the South Island between Powerball Tools Raceway and Christchurch, Teratonga and Timaru. Again, joined in commentary by Phil Dark, and pretty difficult conditions, but nothing unusual for them, Phil, because they've had pretty much exactly the same thing at Teratonga in the previous weekend.
Absolutely right, and the good news is just coming back into commentary box, the rain has stopped for the moment here in Timaru, which is fantastic. But once again, all the drivers complaining about the standing water and the slipperiness coming out onto the start of the grid, so what, through 10.
A little bit of blue sky over here is certainly a break in the clouds from the south. This Antarctic blow just hauling its way up the South Islands. Cameron Jones now lights the wick, goes to the inside of Matt Cronin. He's also sneaked ahead of Jeff Short, although Cronin's going to hold on to the line down through 4. Oh, Cameron Jones runs wide off the exit, so he is really on the edge, and Jeff Short gets the position back. As I said a little bit earlier on, Phil, the Juno sports car slash bathtub.
Be a bathtub today, there's no doubt about it. In fact, if you have a look in the cockpit, you'll see that Jeff is wearing...
Whoa, Cronin goes around in front of him.
Cronin's gone round. Jeff Short took evasive action. Wow, no harm, no foul, but that could have been nasty. So hard for these guys in these reverse grid races to, one, contend with the traffic and contend with the other thing, which is important, even in these terrible conditions, is the speed difference.
So here's the race leader, Russell Mortimer, who actually at the start of the weekend was second in the championship.
There is Cameron Jones, the man in the back of the shot now, once again, starting an attack on Jeff Short and the little Honda Integra powered in Juno. He hasn't got his measure this time either, because Short's going to hold the position as they go up into John Jones Steel and out into the McKissick curves.
Scott Ballingall leading the Production GTs, and Scott is about 7 seconds behind the last of the Sports GTs. That's Lawrence Nola in the big Camaro. I spoke to Jeff Short after Teratonga, and I was sort of going on about the wet and how uncomfortable it would be. He said, no, with the aero, you don't actually get a lot of water in the cockpit unless it's absolutely teeming down straight over the top. Just the road spray, and that it doesn't actually get too wet in that cockpit. So it's a spectacular looking little car. As we alluded to at Teratonga, I hope Jeff can get the Synergy V8 example up and running for the next round at Manfield. Cameron Jones chasing him down. He's just probably settled back a little bit after nearly running off at turn 4. Fastest lap, Jeff Short at a 1:14.4, Cameron Jones at a 1:15.0. Currently Cameron Jones is about 13 seconds away from the race leader Russell Mortimer, but he's only 2 seconds a lap quicker. These quick boys may run out of laps here.
Well, this wet weather is certainly going to be the equaliser, and you don't need all the horsepower in the world. And if you've got all the horsepower in the world, the chances are you're not getting it all down onto the ground. And that's probably what's hampering Cameron Jones here a little bit. Murray Beebe's hampering both Jeff Short and Cameron Jones. Beebe does a sensible thing and moves over. Now, he was in second place, so he didn't necessarily have to do that.
This is 4 position, so Short into second, Cameron Jones into third, Russell Mortimer still your race leader. Scott Ballinger leading the production GTs from Gary Duncan and Neville Stoll in the Subaru. They're all up inside the top 12 in overall race positions, but 2 separate classes running here at Timaru this weekend with the Sports GTs and Production GTs.
You just saw then coming out of the hairpin, Cameron just got on the throttle a little bit early and the back stepped out. 600 or 700 horsepower will do that for you.
Well, he's within 10 seconds of the race leader with 3 laps left to go. And the last lap, again, they were sort of 2 to 3 seconds quicker. So this could be pretty close at the end as they start getting into some of the lap traffic.
Look like a Datsun 240Z in one of the in the production GT class, I would think. Here is car number 29. Now this is Matt Dunn. We saw this one have a bit of a bingle in Invercargill, but he told me it was pretty much cosmetic and he's fixed it all up again. This thing is an absolute bullet in a straight line.
Yeah, the number 19 280Z was Jim Kelly from Dunedin. So Short continuing to hold off Jones here as they reel in the race leader Russell Mortimer at about 2 to 3 seconds a lap. You can just see the top of Mortimer going through shot there. So Short will be looking for his 3rd win of the series. Mortimer's already taken a win. He won the 3rd and final race at Teretonga, also in pretty similar conditions.
Is that a drying line starting to form as we just saw them come through 10 and out onto the front?
It's hard.
Once again.
Like Teretonga, with the different surfaces with the repatching, over on the backside of the circuit, the asphalt's a little bit coarser almost, so it does look like it's drying. It's probably a racing line more so than a complete drying line. Not as much wind as Teretonga last weekend, so I don't think the track's going to quite dry out as fast. So now there's Mortimer at the front of that shot in lap traffic. There is Cameron Jones and Jeff Short, so a couple of laps left to go here. So they work their way through some of the production GTs. Again, Jones just had a couple of grabs at getting through 4. Mortimer with a 4.8 second lead with 2 to go.
It just looks like the Juno's just a little bit more nimble through the traffic. He's got maybe a handling problem for Cam Jones, I'm not sure, but here's Jeff Short just dispatching another one. It's one of the Super 6s.
We were watching the progress in qualifying at the start of the weekend, and Ashley Hooper was, I think, about 5th position overall, but I think they'd got confused with the transponders between that and Matt Cronin's number 9 Skyline. So Ash Hooper was doing similar lap times to Cameron Jones. Jeff Short in the Super 6 Falcon, which I think we picked up pretty early, was a slight anomaly.
Yeah, not bad in a little 6-cylinder Falcon with electronic fuel injection.
Yeah, which at that time we thought was maybe putting out about 800 horsepower. Not quite the case. Oh, Cameron Jones stepping out under brakes. Just down. He's trying hard to stay here with Jeff Short. As the last lap board is out, there is the top 3. Now, Russell Mortimer.
Are they going to do it? Because they can see each other now. Mortimer will know that now he is the stalked.
Well, Cameron Jones
goes up the inside of the Juno there. Just a bit of a mistake from Jeff Short, I think, just to open the door. And he gets sideways coming off the exit. He
got the horsepower down on the straight and made the pass. As, Short's going to try and drive back around him.
He's going to do it too. Nice move from Jeff Short.
Using the nimbleness and the light weight of the Juno. And I think Cameron's going to struggle to get back around him on the run down to the checkered flag. Can Mortimer hold on for his 2nd win of the series? Should more than likely probably maintain 2nd overall. He's going to do it. Out of turn number 10, it will be Russell Mortimer, the Rainmaster in Sports GTs, taking his 2nd victory. Oh, Cameron Jones just about off the track, and he got around Jeff Short in the last corner. So he threw everything at it. Cameron Jones in second, Jeff Short in third. Race 2 results for Sports GT and Production GT. Russell Mortimer taking his second win of the series ahead of Cameron Jones and Jeff Short. And for Production GT, Scott Ballingall taking the victory overall, 6 overall on the track ahead of Gary Duncan, with Neville Stoll completing the top 3, 10th overall.
Russell, a bit of a rainmaster. You were good in Teretonga last week and good here in Timaru as well.
Yeah, the car seems to be working surprisingly well in the wet, and surprising most of us around here, but yeah, it seems to work well.
And I guess in those conditions, the big horsepower like the Cameron Jones really is sort of negated a wee bit.
Yeah, it seems to be the little cars in the rain sort of benefit a little bit more, and us being on that side of things benefits us a wee bit.
Scott, a good win in the Production GTs. Must be hard in all that traffic and the wet weather.
We were fairly lucky. We had mechanical problems yesterday and sort of came right, and we got away with a sneaky one.